Hey, cigar smokers, Matt Urbano. Wanted to just touch base with you. I often get asked either through email or when I'm out doing an event at a cigar store, how the heck do you actually cut, clip, or punch a cigar, right? And I always say, there's a gazillion tools out there, and whatever is actually best for you, and you have to kind of try them all and then go from there. What I like personally is this is just my keychain. This is a really great pair. It's actually a Cigar scissor. It's got a lot of neat tools in there, kind of like a Swiss Army knife. But this is what I always carry on me because I always want to have something to cut a cigar with. What I actually sell through our company is this little clipper here. It's one of the perfect cuts. You can't go all the way through. So this is really great for somebody who's just kind of starting out. And then for somebody that doesn't like to actually get the tobacco on their tongue, like you'll see a lot of people as they're smoking the cigar, they're always picking a piece of tobacco off their tongue. I always suggest this is called a cigar punch. So there's different, some look like bullets, some look like, keys. This just happens to be a little fob that goes on my keychain. This is the cleaner side, then this is the cutter side. So you push this through the end of the cigar. After you push it through the cigar, you just push that through, and then it pops it out. This takes a little practice and a little skill, and you have to really be careful. I always say to people, you don't want to keep these too long. This actually should be sharp and should be easy to use. If you are using this and you notice that the cap on the cigar is constantly breaking, cracking, or tearing, your cigar is either too dry or too wet, or your tool has just gotten dull. So for this, I just wanted to show quickly, this is our Corojo line. It's a Robusto. I've got a 6x60 out, and then I've got a Torpedo out. You'll never be able to use a punch on the Torpedo just because of the shape of the top of the cigar comes into a point, so there's no way to actually cut that off. So what I like to do is I just hold the cigar firmly. I've got the punch in my hand, and then you're just going to kind of line it up in the middle. It's kind of like a cookie cutter or something like that. You're just going to kind of twist it through, and you'll hear it actually puncture the cap, and then you give it a couple of twists. I'm being extremely gentle here because I don't want to damage the cigar, and then you're trapped or stuck with a cigar that's going to burn and be stuck. So I just pull it out. So what you'll kind of notice is it's called a punch because you should see like a little bullet hole right in the end of the cap. All right, and then if you go to draw, it's just the right size hole to actually get the smoke through the cigar. On the bigger cigars, this is our new 6x60. We have it in all three lines. This is very challenging to actually cut, right, or punch. If you're going to punch a cigar like this, sometimes you have to punch it twice. So what I do is kind of like I make one punch on the side, and then the other punch is on the other side, because this is such a big cigar, you need that volume of smoke. And then you'll notice, like on some of the different clippers too, the clipper just doesn't actually open up big enough to cut the back of the cap off. Now, with a little bit of practice you can do it, But what I always say to everybody too is how much are you actually going to cut off the cigar? So when you look at the band of the cigar as you go up, you see what's called the head or the cap of the cigar, and then it's kind of almost like got a little shoulder shape here where it's right on the round before it gets flat up on top. All you're basically doing with any type of cutter or clipper is you're just going to shave the back of the cap off the cigar. If you're going to try to cut it way down here, you're going to get a bad cut. What's going to happen is your cigar is actually going to start to unravel. The wrapper is going to come off and be a mess, right? So what I always say is you're better off, to kind of maybe perhaps cut it twice than just try to go at it once and take a big cut off. Now, for me personally, these are a little bit too small to cut this big cigar. It could be done, right? But what I like about this perfect cut is it actually opens up big enough where you can actually put the cap of the cigar in the hole here, and then you're just going to squeeze it once, and that's going to be a perfect cut. You can see just the cap of the cigar comes off. So I always say to everybody, this is kind of important to see, right? On this cigar here, all I did was shave that little tiny piece of the cap off. Alright, so I'm not cutting off a half inch. This is just a little shave so the back looks like that, okay? So see how I've got just a bit shaved off, and you can still see on the cigar how it's rounded up here. I haven't cut past the cap. Okay, so that's just a little on the difficult side. But as you get into this, you're going to know what works for you and what doesn't. Alright, so we did the punch on the Robusto, right? So we had a nice little bullet hole on that. We did the perfect cut clipper on the 6x60. And now next is the torpedo. Torpedo's a little bit of a challenge, and it's just, again, it comes from practice in doing it, right? You're paying for this cone on top. On any shaped cigar, the people that makes the shaped cigars, right, are the most talented or experienced rollers in the factory. And what they're doing is they're trying to get a consistent roll on this, and they're trying to get a consistent shape. So what I always say to everybody is, if you're going to cut this, right, figure out just where you want to be, and it's better to cut once or twice, because what a lot of people say about the torpedo is they're comfortable because you're not having a big, huge, like 6x60 in your mouth. You're not having a thinner Robusto 5x50. This is all you're doing here is I like to put my thumb on top, and then I like to rest the cutter on top of my thumb, and then just give a gentle squeeze like a pair of scissors, okay? Be careful you don't cut your thumb, because if you're using something like this, it's literally much sharper than scissors. It's like a razor blade. And then I just say give it a draw, alright? If it's a little hard to draw, again, just shave off a little piece, right? We're not doing like Marie Antoinette, where we're doing the guillotine chopping her head off. We're just doing a little shave. And then, see, for me, that's a perfect draw. I like my cigars, you know, well cut, just right, so I get just, for me, the right amount of airflow. Everybody's going to be different. So just to kind of show you again, I made a little bit of a mess here, but the tools I like to use is, if I've got a rounded cigar that's relatively like a Robusto to maybe a Toro. Robusto is your, like we talked about earlier, your shorter cigar. Your Toro and your Churchill are still thinner. I like to use a punch personally. My favorite all-time cigar, though, that I smoke daily is a Torpedo, okay? That's this guy here. You're not going to be able to punch a Torpedo. You're going to actually have to clip that, all right? And then there's a couple different tools out there. You're going to see lighters with clippers on it. You're going to see, you know, all different types of cutters and clippers. You're going to see a lot of really neat things out there that's a lot of fun. But I always say, work with what is in your budget. Work with what you like to use, and then just don't keep it too long. If you're very cost conscious, these things are going to dull up a little bit over time, so don't buy a $200 clipper if it's something that you know you're not going to be able to use forever. I like to use these punches. This thing is from our company. It's Perfect Cut. You know, you're $3 to $5. The Cigar tool is great. They actually say this is self-sharpening. It says a lifelong warranty. I love Cigar products because they last, alright? You have any problems with them, you just send them back. So hope that helped a little bit for showing how to cut cigars. Hey, take it easy. A lot of fun doing these, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night. Bye.